Hi lovers, let's draft this outfit together. So the first thing we'll do is to go down by 3 inches on our pattern paper, and from there we'll take all of our vertical measurements, which are the bust point, the waistline, the hip line, then the total line. So after marking all of those points, I drew a straight line just to indicate the points that we've marked. Then from the bust point, I went down by 3 inches, which is my own under bust. After marking it, I drew another straight line just to indicate my under bust. After doing that, I labeled the lines. So here we have our shoulder line, our bust point, our under bust, the waistline, the hip line, and the full length or total length. So on the shoulder line, we go in by our shoulder to shoulder measurement. Mine is 15 inches divided by 2, that's 7.5 inches. From there, I went down by 1 inch, which will be our shoulder slope. Then from the shoulder slope, I went down by my armhole measurement, which is 7 inches. So our armhole measurement will also serve as our chest line. So there I went in by the same measurement for the shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches, just to achieve a straight line there. So from there, I divided the armhole by 2. What I got there, I went in by 0.5. Then on the chest line, I went in by my bust measurement. So I connected everything together to form our armhole curve. Then from there, I went down to the bust point. I marked my nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 3.5 plus 0.5 inches for seam allowance. So I marked the same on the under bust and on the waistline down to the hip line. So I connected the line together. So from the line that we marked on the bust point, I went down by 1 inch just to avoid this bulging on the breast point. So I went down by 1 inch. Then on the under bust, I came out by 0.75 and I went in by 0.75. So I made a curve there to that 1 inch that I went down by. Just look at what I'm doing. You're going to understand it better. So I made a curve there. So I marked the same 0.75 inches on the waistline. Then from the waistline to the hip line, I went down by 4.5 inches. Then I connected it to the to that line. Just look at what I'm doing. You're going to understand it. So from there, we connect the line we have on our breast point to that point where we went in by 0.5 inches on the armhole curve. Then you come down by 1 inch, you go out by 1 inch. So you connect that line together, you connect it back to that 1 inch that we went down with on that our breast point. After that, we'll mark our bust measurement, we'll mark our allowance, then we'll connect it back to that armhole, our new armhole curve. Then we'll mark our waist measurement. You replace the dart, which is 1.5, then you mark your seam allowance. I used 2.5 inches for that too. Now for our hip measurement, in order to get that exaggerated hip that we have on this particular outfit, you add 10 inches to your normal hip measurement. Now let's assume your hip measurement is about 38 inches. You add plus 10 inches, that's 48 inches. So that is what you're going to use as your hip measurement. So that will be 48 divided by 4 plus your allowance. So you mark it on that hip line and also mark it on the total, on the full length. Then you connect it together. So after doing all of that, you go up by 1 inch, then we'll curve it so as to avoid a very pointy shape at that full length. So after that, we'll come back to our shoulder line, then we go up by 1.5 inches. You make a straight line there. So it is from that 1.5 inches now that you mark your neck width, which should be 3.5 inches. For mine, I use 3.5 inches, so you can use less than 3.5 inches. So just do what works for you. Then after that, we'll cut our pattern. So this is me labeling this as our front pattern. This is our front pattern. So before we cut, I love to eliminate the bust dart, because usually our front waistline is not the same as the back waistline. So in order to avoid any complications, you just eliminate your bust dart. So for mine, I used 2 inches. I went down by 2 inches, then I connected it to my breast, so that my bust point where I have my dart. So that's how we would do it. Then we'll cut it out. Just look at what I'm doing and be careful when you're cutting it out so that you don't cut out the wrong thing. So here is it after cutting it out, and we have our front pattern. So let's move to our back pattern. So basically the same thing we did for the front pattern is what we're going to do for the back pattern, just that our back pattern do not have breast points. So before anything at all, you mark your zipper allowance. For mine, I used 1.5 inches. So after doing all of that, after marking it, I connected the lines. So after doing that, the same way we came down by 3 inches for our front pattern, we do the same for the back pattern. So we'll come down by 3 inches. From that 3 inches, we'll go down to our waistline. So for my waistline for the front, I used 17 inches. But for the back now, I'll be using 15 inches because the waistline for the front and the back are not the same. So it was that 2 inches difference that I used to eliminate the bust dart for my front pattern the other time. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's our waistline, 15 inches. Then from there, went down by our hip line, then went down to our full length. So now shoulder line, we go in by our shoulder to shoulder measurement, the same way we did for the front pattern. Then we'll go down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Then we'll go down by 7 inches for the armhole. So that armhole measurement now will be our chest line, since we do not have bust points for back pattern. So connect the lines together. Then we divide what we have there by 2. We'll go in by 0.5 just to mark our armhole curve. So just the same way we did for the front pattern, basically that's what we are doing for the back pattern. So we'll mark our armhole curve here. Then after marking our armhole curve, we'll connect our shoulder slope. Then we go up by 1.5 inches, just as we did for the front pattern. We'll make a straight line there. That is where we'll mark our neck width from. So for the front, I used 3.5. That's what I'm going to mark again for the back, the same 3.5 inches. So that will be our, that particular dress has like a high neck. It's more like a high neck. So on our waistline, from our chest line to our waistline, then to the hip, we mark our nipple to nipple measurements. After marking it, we'll connect it together. Then on the waistline, we'll go in by 0.75 and come out by 0.75, just the same way we did for the front pattern. Then from that waistline, I went down by 5 inches. Then I connected the whole that together. From the chest line, I came down by 1 inch, just the same way we came down by 1 inch from the bust point. So we'll connect the lines together to mark our darts. So after that, we'll connect our point from the armhole curve to the chest, to the one inch that we went down with on the chest line. So we'll connect that together. Then after that, we'll go down by 1 inch. Then we'll come out by 1 inch. Basically the same way we did for the front pattern. That's what we're going to do here. So after doing all of that, we're going to impute our bust measurement divided by 4 plus our seam allowance. We'll do the same for the waistline and the hip line. And do not forget that our hip line, we are not using our exact hip measurement. So we are using our hip measurement plus 10 inches divided by 4. So whatever we get there, we'll mark it on the hip line. Then we'll go to the full length, we'll mark it there as well. After doing that, we'll connect all of these lines together. Then after connecting the lines together, we'll go up by 1 inch or 1.5 inches from the full length, just to avoid a very pointy or sharp edge on the full length. So after doing that, we'll connect it to where we have our zip allowance, just to make a curve. So after that, I love to eliminate zip bulge, and in order to do that, what I usually do is I go up by 1 inch or 0.75, depending on how big the person you are working on, depending on how big the person is. But for my own size, I usually use 0.75. So I go up by 0.75, I come down by 0.75, then I'll close that there. I'm going to close that dart. So after closing it, you realize that we don't have a straight zipper allowance anymore. So when you do that and you're sure that, okay, there's no straight zipper allowance anymore, that means you have eliminated the zip bulge. So by the time you are done fixing your zip, to not have this funny look at the back. So just look at the way I am cutting it so that you don't make mistakes. So this is me eliminating the zipper bulge. So all you do is just to cut through. When you are done cutting through, then you close that, I don't know if I should call it that, or you close that allowance there. So after closing it, you see what we have. You see that it's no longer a straight zipper allowance. Then after closing it, so we'll cut through our bustier. And mind you, you can also do a straight dart for the back of this dress. But personally, I just prefer a bustier. If I'm using a bustier for the front, I want to use a bustier for the back as well. But you can use a straight dart for the back. And note that for that exaggerated hip, you can use more than 10 inches. But for me, I just don't want something that will be too big, because I am not that fat or that big.